What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Knight, here to give you a proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. And today, we are talking about Wolverine Revenge, the second book. This should be very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and get into it. As you guys, if you guys remember from the first video that I did of the first book, I wasn't highly impressed with the story, but the story seems to be very interesting, and so let's just see how it has progressed so far. So we are at where they have basically buried Bucky and Captain America, because in the first book, Bucky and Captain America were both blown up by Deadpool. And Wolverine is taking this very personally, mainly because it has almost everything to do with Colossus and his teaming up with the likes of Sabretooth, Omega Red, Mastermind, and Deadpool. And they're just insistent on, oh, we aren't villains, we're victims, or whatever the fuck. So at this point, he's had enough and he's ready to kill somebody. He's ready to kick some ass. So his first stop actually is going to the this like reservation land, and he runs into Danny Moonstar. And you know, she's like, "You're trespassing, please don't make me leave." And she has her bear demons show up kind of just as a threat, and he's basically saying, "I just need the two of you to help me. I really don't give a fuck about what y'all got going on." He's like, "Your demon bears are here for fear. I ain't afraid of y'all. I just need assistance so that I can complete the mission that I'm trying to complete." And Forge is actually in the car, and he's really the one that Wolverine came to see. With that being said, it goes a couple days later where they're going out to the site where Magneto had died and had that EMP explosion, right? So, you know, they're having their conversations and disagreements because of whatever has happened between the two of them. And like, I really actually don't think that they like each other too much right now. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's Wolverine. So, but Forge has done some questionable things in his lifetime too. So, anyway. So they dig up his body, and the reason that they are trying to get to Magneto's body is because Wolverine needs Magneto's helmet, because as we all know, Magneto's helmet prevents mind reading and any like interference from a psychics at all. Mastermind is one of those people. So they give the helmet, and Forge starts working on it. After Forge has done his work on it and made his adjustments to it, Wolverine goes to this city whose town's name has been erased, and he approaches Mastermind talking all this shit. And Mastermind has literally mind controlled the entire city or town. Literally everybody there is under his control, and then you have Wolverine coming in and he's not under his control. And so he does attack Wolverine mentally, but he's not able to like read any thoughts or get any readings or anything like that, and that is because he has on Magneto's helmet. When he finally does reveal himself, Mastermind starts freaking out and tries to get his servants, who are women, to attack, but they're literally not doing anything. And so Wolverine actually ends up beheading Mastermind and carrying his head out in front of the town so that they can see, and everybody is fine now. But the reason that they got Mastermind's head is so Forge could poke around into his brain and see where everybody is. So, of course, they have locations on Colossus, and they have Omega Red in one area. Deadpool is flipping through several different areas, so he's on the move. And Sabretooth is in an area where he has stayed put. So that is where Wolverine decides that he's going to go. Now, when Wolverine does approach Sabretooth, he does have a motorcycle with him, and if you are paying attention to the page, the motorcycle's headlight or headlamp is focused on him. He's not even on the bike, he's just holding it, and the light is focused on Sabretooth. That is very important. So they're, of course, having their talk, and Sabretooth is not surprised that Wolverine is here, because as long as there's a piece of Wolverine available, Wolverine is going to be able to regenerate. Same thing with Sabretooth, same thing with Deadpool. As long as there's a piece of them that exists, their regeneration is inevitable. So he's not surprised, but he is ready to fight. And they do start fighting, and it is, of course, very bloody, very violent. And Sabretooth is, of course, talking all of his shit like he normally does when the two of them do fight. And like, he's dealing some really heavy damage to Wolverine, but Wolverine is regenerating as normal. However, when Wolverine starts dealing a lot of damage to Sabretooth realizes that he's not healing or regenerating as well as he should be, if at all. And then he notices that he's not regenerating or healing at all, and he's essentially bleeding to death. And he's trying to figure out why. And of course, Wolverine doesn't waste any time in explaining that when he pulled up on the bike and had the bike just next to him, that the headlights or headlamp had a neutralizer in it, and it sat on Sabretooth long enough to neutralize his powers, so he doesn't have any regeneration powers anymore. It's gone. It's basically the power neutralizers that Sentinels have, as well as the people who work for the government, where they have weapons, or they have the neutralizing neck brace things that they put on those, the neuralizers. It's that, but he put it into the bike's headlights. And when he notices that he is in a shit ton of trouble, that is when Wolverine just gives out all of the deadliest strikes that he can. And then it is here that we have our to be continued, of course. So with this story, I did like this issue, him teaming up with Forge, him interacting with Danny Moonstar. But it's very, very clear that something has happened where those two are really not in a mood for Wolverine. So clearly a lot of things have been happening that involve Wolverine, and Wolverine is not the easiest to get along with. But again, Forge and Danny have done very, very questionable things in their lifetime, so them being upset about Wolverine, about whatever it is that he may have done, it's very ironic. Very. Then we also have the fact that we have confirmation that Magneto is definitely dead, and nobody really cared enough to even just like try to bury him. I'm assuming the ones who actually did care are probably dead. And so his body is just out there buried under dirt, and they just so happen to know where it is. So everybody knows where it is. They just left him there. So again, it kind of begs the question, what happened for that treatment to even occur, and you know, all of the stuff that has happened for this book so far. And with that being said, I completely and totally understand Wolverine's want for revenge. This story is doing a very good job of getting straight to that point. You know, they did something fucked up, and the reasons that they are doing it are also fucked up. So they killed two people, and I'm not even going to say that he's friends with Bucky and Captain America, but in they may be. But those are two people that he was teammates with, and that he was, you know, may or may not have been friends with, and you killed them. So you gotta go. And so, you know, I completely understand, right? Am I in love with the story? Not yet. I feel like I want to see the more interaction between, because he will always have beef with Sabretooth. That will always be there. But I would want to know like how it ends with him and Colossus. Him and Deadpool have a love-hate relationship as well. Hate relationship, whatever. So, you know, Deadpool switches like the wind, so. But I'd say probably about an 8 out of 10 on this one. Bit better. So let me know what you guys think. That is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and I will see you guys at your next checkup.